Biafra Chief of Staff and Deputy Prime Minister Ngozi Orabueze has reaffirmed that Biafra remains committed to its independence, stating that the nation has fulfilled all criteria for sovereignty and has declared itself as the United States of Biafra. She emphasized that Simon Ekpa is the only recognized leader, dismissing any claims of alternative leadership within the movement. She praised Biafra's military forces, including the Biafra Liberation Army, Navy and Air Force, for defending their land against Nigerian military and security forces whom she labeled as terrorists. Foreign oil companies operating in Biafra must comply with new taxation policies, paying 50 million naira monthly to support Biafra's development or face consequences after a 60-day ultimatum. All government offices in Biafra are now under the jurisdiction of the United States of Biafra, and Nigerian government officials must leave or join the new administration within the 60-day period. Individuals working for Nigerian state-backed governors in the region, including security operatives accused of targeting Biafrans, were warned that they would face consequences if they continued their activities. She accused Nigeria and Western countries, particularly European nations, of exploiting Biafra's natural resources while supporting military actions that oppress Biafrans. She condemned the destruction of Biafran homes by the Nigerian government, particularly by Anambra State Governor Chukwuma Soludo, vowing that all seized properties would be returned to their rightful owners. She encouraged Biafrans to resist oppression, stating that the movement will not allow continued killings, economic sabotage, and territorial occupation by Nigerian forces and their foreign allies. She concluded with a stern warning to Nigerian authorities and collaborators, reaffirming that Biafra will function as a sovereign nation and urging Biafrans to unite under the leadership of Simon Ekpa. I want to share with you a story that has been on my mind ever since I first heard it. A story of determination, unity, and the promise of a new beginning for a people who have long struggled for their rightful place in the world. It all began on a day when I tuned in to hear an important update from a very influential figure. I was listening intently as Biafra Chief of Staff and Deputy Prime Minister Ngozi Orabueze addressed a crowd and the nation at large. In her speech, she made it absolutely clear that the movement for Biafran independence was not just a dream, but a determined, organized, and well-thought-out plan for a future free from oppression. From the very start of her address, Biafra Chief of Staff and Deputy Prime Minister Ngozi Orabueze spoke with a passion that resonated deep within every listener. She reminded us that Biafra, now officially declared as the United States of Biafra, had met every single requirement needed to be considered a sovereign nation. I remember feeling a mix of awe and hope as she described how the nation had been meticulously planned, from its clearly defined geographical boundaries to the detailed map of the 40 states that now made up the territory. Every element had been thought through, and nearly 98% of the people had voiced their support in a self-conducted referendum. This wasn't just a symbolic act. It was a declaration backed by facts and the unwavering will of a people who believed that they deserved their own destiny. One of the parts of the speech that struck me most was her unwavering emphasis on unity under one recognized leader. Biafra Chief of Staff and Deputy Prime Minister Ngozi Orabueze made it very clear that there was no room for division when it came to leadership. In her own strong and decisive words, she said that there is only one leader who truly represents the movement, the one and only Prime Minister Simon Ekpa. This was not just a casual mention. It was a clear directive that any suggestion of alternative leadership was simply unacceptable. I could sense in her tone that this was a moment of consolidation, a time when every person who believed in Biafra's future was being called to rally around a single, unifying figure. It made me think of the times in history when leaders have become symbols of hope, uniting disparate voices into a single, powerful call for change. As her speech went on, Biafra Chief of Staff and Deputy Prime Minister Ngozi Orabueze did not shy away from addressing the very real challenges that lay ahead. She spoke with no-nonsense clarity about the need to defend the territory against those who, in her view, had long imposed their will by force. I remember her mentioning the brave men and women who were part of the Biafra Liberation Army, the Biafra Navy, and the Biafra Air Force. These were not just military units, they were the steadfast guardians of Biafra's freedom. In her words, these forces were tasked with protecting the land from the Nigerian military and various security forces, forces that she labeled as terrorists. To hear such direct language was both unsettling and invigorating at the same time. It was a stark reminder that for too long the land and its people had been under constant threat, and now it was time to take back what was rightfully theirs. What made her speech even more compelling was the way she mixed warnings with promises of hope and opportunity. For instance, she addressed foreign oil companies operating in the territory with a firm ultimatum. She explained that these companies, which had long been extracting natural resources from Biafra, now had to comply with new taxation policies. Starting immediately, they were required to pay 50 million naira every single month for a period of 60 days. I found this to be a particularly striking measure because it wasn't just about imposing a fine, it was about reclaiming the wealth of the nation so that it could be used to build a better future. The money collected from this tax was intended to fund essential developments like reliable electricity, quality education, accessible healthcare, and a clean and safe environment. It was a pragmatic approach aimed at ensuring that the resources of Biafra would directly benefit the Biafran people, rather than feeding the coffers of foreign interests. In addition to these economic measures, there was also a significant administrative overhaul that she announced. Every government office in the territory was now declared to be under the jurisdiction of the newly formed United States of Biafra. This meant that all Nigerian government officials who had been operating in the region were given a stark choice: leave the territory or join the new administration within the next 60 days. I remember thinking about how monumental this was. It wasn't just a change of policy, but a complete transformation of the governance structure. It signaled a clear break from the past and an unequivocal assertion that Biafra was now a sovereign entity with its own rules and systems. Biafra Chief of Staff and Deputy Prime Minister Ngozi Orabueze did not stop at imposing rules on external forces. She was equally clear about what was expected from within. She addressed individuals who were working for state-backed governors in the region, those who had been involved in security operations that, according to her, were responsible for targeting innocent Biafrans. She warned these operatives that if they continued their activities against the people, they would face serious consequences. This was a call for accountability from every quarter. No one was above the law or exempt from the new order that was being established. It was as if she was drawing a line in the sand and saying that any collaboration with the old oppressive system was no longer an option. Her speech took an even more intense turn when she addressed what she saw as the exploitation of the nation's natural resources. In a tone that was both accusatory and determined, she criticized not only the Nigerian government, but also Western nations, particularly those in Europe. According to her, these countries had been complicit in exploiting Biafra's abundant natural resources while simultaneously supporting military actions that oppressed the Biafran people. I found myself nodding along, feeling that her words captured a deep-seated injustice that many had long observed, but few had dared to articulate so boldly. She argued that it was high time for these external forces to reconsider their alliances and to stop benefiting from the resources that rightfully belonged to the people of Biafra. One of the most emotional parts of her address came when she spoke about the destruction of homes, a subject that hit close to the heart of everyone who had ever known loss or displacement. She condemned the actions of those who had been responsible for bulldozing Biafran homes, specifically calling out the role of the governor of Anambra State, Chukwuma Soludo. With a promise that I will never forget, she vowed that every property seized unlawfully would be returned to its rightful owner. This was not just a political statement, it was a promise of justice, a commitment to restoring what had been taken and to healing wounds that had festered for far too long. Throughout her speech, I could sense that every word was chosen with deliberate care, each sentence imbued with a sense of urgency and resolve. She repeatedly emphasized that the movement was not interested in half measures or ambiguous alliances. There was no room for a divided leadership, and no space for those who would continue to serve the old regime. The message was as clear as it was forceful. If you wanted to be part of this new beginning, you had to be on board completely. There was no middle ground. Every government office, every military unit, every business operating in the territory was expected to align with the new vision, a vision that was centered on the independence, self-reliance and prosperity of the Biafran people. I remember feeling a deep sense of connection as I listened to her thank the many individuals who had contributed to the movement. She took the time to acknowledge the tireless efforts of the media professionals, the state administrators, the cabinet members, and the ambassadors who represented the United States of Biafra in various countries. Her gratitude was genuine, and it made me realize that this was not just a top-down declaration. It was a collective movement, powered by the energy and commitment of countless people working together toward a common goal. At one point in the speech, she addressed a particularly critical group, the so-called reintegrated terrorists who had been operating in Nigerian military and police uniforms. With unmistakable firmness, she declared that these individuals were no longer welcome. They were given a clear ultimatum: leave the territory within 60 days, or if they wished, they could choose to join the new administration. There was no ambiguity about the consequences if they continued to operate under the old system. It was a message that reverberated with the finality of a decision that had been long in the making. The economic measures she announced were equally significant. By requiring foreign oil companies to pay 50 million naira per month, she was effectively reclaiming the economic sovereignty of the nation. I couldn't help but think about the years during which the natural resources of Biafra had been siphoned off to benefit foreign interests, all while the local communities suffered from neglect and underdevelopment. The funds collected through this new taxation policy were destined to transform the very fabric of the nation, improving basic infrastructure, creating reliable electricity, building schools, establishing cutting-edge healthcare centers, and ensuring that every citizen had the opportunity to live in a safe and prosperous environment. This was not just about revenue, it was about rewriting the economic destiny of an entire people. As the speech neared its conclusion, I found myself reflecting on the broader significance of what had been said. Biafra Chief of Staff and Deputy Prime Minister Ngozi Orabueze was not merely issuing a series of demands and ultimatums. She was laying out a vision for the future. A future in which the Biafran people would finally have control over their land, their resources, and their destiny. She spoke of a new order in which government offices would be staffed by individuals who had a genuine commitment to the cause, where every policy was designed to benefit the people, and where the exploitation of natural resources would become a thing of the past. Her message was one of both resolve and invitation. She called upon every Biafran to join her in this great endeavor, to stand shoulder to shoulder with the recognized leadership of Prime Minister Simon Ekpa, and to work together to build a nation that truly reflected their values and aspirations. The call was unmistakable: either join in this new chapter of self-determination or step aside. There was no alternative, and there was certainly no room for compromise on such a foundational matter. I remember how, in the quiet moments after her speech, I was overwhelmed by a profound sense of both melancholy and hope. It was as if all the years of struggle, the sacrifices of those who had fought for freedom, and the enduring pain of oppression had converged into a single, powerful declaration of independence. The determination in her voice, the firmness of her words, and the unyielding commitment to justice and accountability all painted a picture of a people who were ready to reclaim their future, no matter what obstacles lay ahead. The story did not end with her speech. It was, in many ways, just the beginning of a new journey. As I sat there processing every word, I couldn't help but think about the challenges that would come next. The path to true independence would undoubtedly be fraught with difficulties, political tensions, economic hurdles, and perhaps even further confrontations with those who opposed the change. Yet in that moment, the promise of a better future shone through. There was a palpable sense of possibility, a belief that after decades of hardship and exploitation, a day had finally come when the Biafran people could take control of their own destiny. For me, the speech was more than just a political update. It was a personal call to be part of something transformative. It reminded me of the power of unity and the strength that can be found when a community comes together with a shared purpose. I felt as though I had been invited to witness the birth of a nation, a moment when history was being written with the resolve and passion of people who had endured so much, yet still held on to hope. I started to imagine what the future might look like under this new order. I pictured communities where children could attend schools that were properly funded, where parents no longer had to worry about their homes being seized or destroyed, and where every citizen had access to the basic necessities of life. I envisioned a nation that invested in its people, where progress was measured not by the wealth of foreign corporations, but by the well-being of its own citizens. It was a future built on the principles of justice, equality, and self-determination, a future that, after so many years of struggle, finally felt within reach. In her powerful address, Biafra Chief of Staff and Deputy Prime Minister Ngozi Orabueze also extended her gratitude to those who had endured hardships on the front lines of this struggle. She thanked the members of the Biafra Liberation Army, the Biafra Navy, and the Biafra Air Force for their steadfast protection of the land. I could feel the pride in her voice as she spoke of these defenders, who were not merely soldiers, but the very guardians of the nation's spirit. Their dedication was a beacon of hope for all who believed in a future where justice and freedom reigned supreme. At the same time, she did not hesitate to warn those who had contributed to the suffering of the Biafran people.
Biafra will come. You either allow us to go in peace, or you are going to remain pieces and Biafra will still go. And you see this thing we are asking now, that you must recognize the Biafra referendum. It is going to end in the round table when the stupid and foolish ones have died in Biafra land. Many of those terrorists they are sending, they are going to die, all of them in Biafra land. You cannot just come to kill us and we'll watch you and fold our arms to watch you kill our women and children. It's not possible.
Only one, under his leadership, His Excellency Simon Ekpa. Anybody that is confusing anyone or telling you there is another, no, there is nothing. There's just one, recognized by His Excellency Simon. And we can pray. Once he has that communication, Biafrans we understand that Obato Obie does not take no crap from nobody. No matter who you are, you must respect that authority. That authority is the only thing that can... All of you here today, to this special fundraising. I want to first start by thanking everyone that is present here today. We thank all the media people for what you do. We thank our own Obato Obie for your resilience, for your steadfastness, and for everything you do to ensure that we are doing what we are doing here today. We thank you, Your Excellency. We thank our own do for what he does on our behalf, for being steadfast. It is because of you that we are doing what we're doing here today. Thank you so much. Thank you for your perseverance. Thank all the secretaries, the cabinet members, the state governors, the state executives. I thank you all for coming here today. Thank you for all the state administrators, the liaison heads, the ambassadors of different countries that are present here under the United States of Biafra. I thank you so much for what you do and what you continue to do in your different countries to ensure we all go home as quickly as possible. I also want to use this opportunity to thank our angels, the Biafran Liberation Army, the Biafra Defense Forces, the Navy, the Air Force, for what you do steadily to ensure that our land is free from the reintegrated terrorists, from the Nigerian state invaders that are occupying our land today. I thank you so much for what you do. The terrorists must leave our land, peacefully or forcefully. That is the promise we've given them. And I believe, I'm very happy they're understanding the message. We're not going to be talking too much. We're not the media war or warriors. But our messages are very, very clear. Biafra is an independent nation. We've met all the criteria to be a nation. We have a geographical location. We have our map for the 40 states of Biafra. We conducted a self-referendum voting. We are almost 98% of Biafrans agree that we must exit Nigeria. That vote is somewhere in the public domain, and we have the record of that. We are partnering with our allies who supported what we are doing. So the United States of Biafra is a sovereign nation that was declared in Lahti, Finland, November 29th, 2024. All the necessary documents are being presented at the right tables, and we are getting very good response from some of them. That is what we will continue to do. As a sovereign nation, any foreign invader from Nigeria state inside Biafra land, at this point, you are occupying a foreign nation. We've told you to leave. We demand that you leave. We've given you an ultimatum to leave and stop killing our people. The 60 days is fast approaching. From the first day we made that pronouncement, the oil companies that are operating in Biafra lands, some of you have gotten the letters, and I'm very, very happy for your responses. Some of you are doing the right thing. We will continue to make Biafra land a comfortable place, a free place for businesses to operate and serve the people of Biafra. That is what we are here for. I'm glad some of you do understand the need to function in an environment where you feel free. But the ultimatum is from the 60 days we've given, that you start paying that 50 million naira per month or 50 million AJ per month to the United States of Biafra for us to continue to use that to build our nation, to maintain our nation, to get the basic things that have been lacking for our people for so many years, over the past 60 years, such as constant electricity, having a very clean and safe environment where our people can live and operate and do their businesses, having sound education, where we have the money to pay our teachers, having cutting-edge healthcare centers. So those are the taxes that we demand those foreign companies operating in our land, milking our natural resources. Those are just the little minute amount that we want you to start paying every month to help us maintain our land. our state, our new United States of Biafra. We've also mandated the reintegrated terrorists wearing Nigerian military and police uniform and security uniforms like Ebu Badru, like the one that Soludo, the legitimized Governor Soludo flouted, the one that the legitimized Peter Mbas flouted. All this security, we demand you leave Biafra land. We gave you 60 days, starting from the first day that I made that pronouncement. I'm very happy some of you are understanding the message we are bringing. You got to leave our land. All the government offices, we gave you the deadline to leave because we have our 40 state administrators. We have all the commissioners in all the departments, education, agriculture, healthcare. They are ready to start work from day one. Recruitments have been going on for all the staff that are going to work in those offices. We mandate you to leave those government offices because the United States of Biafra, we have our workforce that are ready to start serving the Biafra people. The 60 days also apply to you. All the government offices, anybody entering those government offices, those buildings belong to the United States of Biafra. You are mandated to leave. Either you join the United States of Biafra workforce, reach out to your state governors and your state commissioners and register your willingness to continue to serve Biafra people. And they will include you on the list of the workers they have in those particular departments. We are assimilating Biafrans that are working in these different departments, in these government offices, into the United States of Biafra. All the 40 state governors, they are present, they are willing, the departments are willing to recruit and assimilate all these Biafrans that are working for the legitimized Nigerian government inside Biafra land. You have the opportunity before the expiration of those 60 days to start engaging your state commissioners. In all the 40 states, we have state commissioners for education, for commerce, for industry, for health. And we encourage you to reach out to those state governors and the state commissioners to start registering your presence and your willingness to work under the conditions set by the United States of Biafra. On the expiration of those 60 days, the expectation is that only the United States of Biafra staff, commissioners, will be functioning in those offices. We are not joking. This information, please take it seriously. Take it seriously. We are a sovereign nation. We've declared. When America declared as a foreign state, their number was less than the numbers of us that declared it in Latin Finland. They had less states. And they declared and they started functioning. That is the same thing Biafra is going to do. We are exploring all the peaceful means to ensure that we safeguard our land, we safeguard our people from the reintegrated terrorists sent by the Nigerian government to come and kill our people just because of our belief, to kill our people just because we are Biafrans, and to kill our people to continue to milk the natural resources that are in abundance in Biafra territory. I am telling Europe to stop. European nations, stop what you are doing. Stop the destruction of Biafra territory using Nigeria terrorist government. The oil you are looking for in Biafra land, you are no longer going to get that. It's a promise. Stop killing our people. Stop partnering with Nigerian government, President Tinubu, Christopher Musa, to kill Biafrans just to continue to milk our natural resources, our oil reserves, which you use to develop your own countries, while our people die in squalor. Our people do not get the basic education they need. They don't get the basic health care they need. They don't get the progress that we need as a nation. We cannot have the abundance of our natural resources being tapped from Nigeria to Europe to Finland while our people die. Our cause is a just cause. That is why I am letting you know. You must comply with the conditions set by the United States of Biafra on the expiration of the 60 days we already gave you and your cohorts. You cannot continue to milk our natural resources while our people die in squalor and abject poverty. That cannot continue. And you allow the Nigerian state to continue to wage a silent war, secret war inside Biafra land. All of us, we see all their vehicles inside Biafra land, disturbing the quiet communities in Biafra land. That will stop. Biafrans have said that will stop. We know what you are doing. We know what you need. And we've reason out to say you cannot continue to milk our people and chase our people away from their lands using these mercenaries that President Tinubu is sending to the southeast and south part of Nigeria. Most of them now in the Biafra territory. You cannot continue to do that. You've killed us enough. And Biafrans have risen up. It is for your own interest, to your own interest, to leave Biafra land, leave Biafra territory. Any European country, any Western country signing any contract with the Nigerian state for the oil resources, for the oil reserves, or any natural resources in Biafra land, you need to cancel that contract immediately. Because those contracts are what Nigeria state is using to kill our people, to kill the Biafra people. And I'm telling you this publicly. Cancel those contracts. Leave Biafra territory. Because we are coming to take over everything that belongs to Biafrans. I also want to use this opportunity to warn the criminal elements inside Biafra land that are being recruited by these southeast and south delegitimized governors that go around killing innocent Biafrans. We have only one government, the United States of Biafra, that was declared in Lati, Finland on November 29, 2024. That declaration has only two names: Prime Minister Simon Ekpa and my signature. Anybody telling you anything different is false. Those of you killing innocent Biafrans for no reason, you will pay the price. You will pay heavily. Because Biafrans, we do not kill our fellow Biafrans. Our target is the Nigerian terrorist state that are coming to kill us, that killed many hundreds of Biafrans in December, in Ihamufu. All these people killing us for nothing. Those are our targets. Coming into our territory, coming into our sovereign nation to kill innocent mothers, children, women, boys and girls. Nothing. They didn't do anything to them. Those are our targets. Those people that are sending them to kill us are our targets. Those of you that are Biafrans, killing innocent Biafrans, you are not going to go free. No matter who you are, you will not go free. When you go to Biafra land and you call yourself whatever security that you are, whatever agent you are, and you kill innocent Biafrans for nothing, you will not go free. The legitimized governors that go ahead and take up innocent people's homes, destroy their homes with bulldozers, and kill them, you are not going to go free. Most of you travel to civilized countries. If somebody commits a crime, you arrest the individual, you take the person to court. Anyone is presumed innocent until proven otherwise. You cannot go to people's innocent homes where the parents and grandparents and children are living, and you bulldoze the house and you say the government has taken over that home. Where is it done in the world? That is what Soludo is doing. And he thinks he has the right to do that because President Tinubu and the terrorists are supporting him. I'm telling you, Soludo, you will not go free. With this criminal act you are doing in Biafra land, you and your cohorts, you will not go free. Because we have justice. Nigeria is a signatory to the charters of the United Nations and African Union that allows individuals to be free, allow individuals to go through the due process of law. If you think anybody have committed any crime, there is a process. You cannot continue to kill innocent Biafrans because you send reintegrated terrorists from different parts of the world, of the Sahel, and you gave them Nigerian military and police uniform, and they come and kill our people, and you think we are not going to kill back? And you think we're not going to revenge the killing of our brothers and sisters and mothers that these terrorists from Nigeria has killed? You think we're not going to revenge that? And then, when we rise up, you come to destroy our homes. You come to destroy the homes of our parents and grandparents. Is that what you learn? Is that what they teach you? Where in the world you travel outside your country that people commit crimes and you go to bulldoze their homes and you say the government has taken over those homes? I promise you, any single home of a Biafran that you, Soludo, took over, I promise you, that home will be returned to the original owners of that home. And you that is doing this destruction, you are not going to go free. I promise you. And I'm telling you to stop. You and these criminals, you recruits that are following and doing this thing to Biafra homes, you are destroying us economically. That's what you are doing. Because we use our money to build those homes. If somebody commits a crime that lives in that home, it is your duty, the right thing to do is to get that individual and take them to court and charge them for that crime you think they commit. And they'll go through the due process of law. If they are guilty, they'll go to jail. That is the right thing to do. You are not doing that. You are suppressing and oppressing and destroying Biafrans, and you will not go free for this. No, you won't go free. You and whoever sent you to do that, you won't go free. I'm using this opportunity to warn all Biafrans that are being recruited by Soludo, by Hope Uzodimma, by Pitamba, and the rest of them. I'm using this opportunity to warn you to leave. Leave them. You cannot work for Soludo and go free in Biafra land. Because we know that you are coming and killing innocent Biafrans. You cannot work for Soludo. You cannot work for Hope Uzodimma. You cannot work for Pitamba as an agent and go free. Those of you that work for Ifa Yoba from Nnewi, You know the result of that. I'm telling you to stop what you're doing. I'm telling you to stop what you're doing. Leave Biafra land. We are a sovereign nation. On that note, I thank you so much, Biafrans. Finance.
This is the end of our news update. Please click the icon on the top right corner of your screen to watch my next video. You will enjoy it. I will see you again in my next update. Enjoy the rest of your day. Goodbye for now.